Can we pull it out? It's good eating, good pelt.
I'm
We already have.
pretty sure it's a parent taking care of a litter.
I recovered my arrow from the rabbit, and
Yeah.
we can add the rabbit to our food supply or whatever.
Yeah. So
And I think we should just keep going along that coastline.
Should we leave food for the parent? Because apparently there's a litter.
Yes.
I quite enjoy your reluctance to share.
Well, let's just put it this way. I mean, you got to skin it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's going to be guts. There's going to be the head and all that other stuff. So it can have that.
All right.
Leave
So
that.
you gut the rabbit and leave the guts and the head behind, taking the parts of meat that you think will actually make a good meal. Skin the rabbit. You get a rabbit fur.
Was
So
that a dog fart?
that was the dog shaking.
She was right against the couch, so her tail hit the couch multiple times.
Okay. Because I couldn't think what else would make that singularly strange noise.
So you guys have the partially preserved winter wolf pelt, 2 wolves, and a rabbit fur. As you continue, after about 2 hours, you start to see in the distance what looks to be some fairly faint lights.
Land ho.
Ooh, lights.
We were already on land, so town. People.
I am not a hoe.
Depends upon what kind of town it is. There might be. We can ask around though.
There is generally one at least.
That was my mother's job, and she's not with us.
Never mind.
She had other jobs too.
And
All right.
I almost just had tea in my nose, so thanks.
All right, so as you guys are approaching, you see what appears to be a town sort of nestled amongst a forest that is sort of along the edge of this river. There are a bunch of piers that extend outwards into the frozen lake, and it looks kind of small, and it looks kind of like this. Did you get it?
We got a write-up.
So by kind of you mean exactly?
Yeah. So you guys see the map of Lonelywood, right?
Nope.
Jawohl.
I got a write-up of it, but I did not
Scroll up.
Yeah, scroll up.
Oh, can you send that again then? Because I closed it. Now
There
I
you
got
go.
the map. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what is that? Oh, I can zoom. All right. So, I guess near the edge of the town, there's a sign that says "Welcome to Lonelywood."
I say we go to the inn, get warm.
So as you are approaching, the town doesn't have walls. There don't appear to be a lot of people out and about, and those that are bundled quite tightly against the cold. You do see a few people sort of dragging small boats across the ice. There appear to be about 3 sets of people sort of bringing their boats in for the evening, that they finished whatever it was they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I like that part of the write-up where it says, despite its attraction to criminals and miscreants, Lonelywood is not a place where folk murder each other in the streets.
Yeah.
It's very comforting.
Go right at home then.
I'll be sure to mind my P's and Q's.
Yeah. All right. The first sort of public-looking building that you come upon is a. It kind of looks like a tavern. It is. It looks old. There's a little sign hanging from the door with a mug sort of tipped over, a little bit of foam sort of spilling out of the side, and you see one of the groups of fishermen have sort of left their boat next to one of the wooden piers and have sort of wandered towards this place, and you kind of followed them. As they went in, they opened the door, and there was firelight and the sound of sort of people sitting around. You think there may be some people in this place?
Well, let's see if we can get a room here.
All right. As you step through the door, a dark-haired lady standing behind the counter wearing a stained apron turns towards you and says, "Ah, strangers! Welcome to the Lucky Liar. Can I get you anything?"
Can we get a meal and a room?
The meal I can do. This is a fairly small room. From the outside, you imagine that there's a kitchen and maybe some type of place for the staff to stay, but it doesn't look like they rent out rooms or anything. She says, a room might be challenging. We did have an inn a little while back called the Ramshackle, but it's fallen on hard times of late. You could always have a chat with Nimsy. Speaker Nimsy lives south of here, over close to the Ramshackle, and she sort of has taken over the role of welcoming visitors and strangers. We don't get a lot of travelers these days.
Well, can we at least sit down and get warm before we go?
Absolutely. Pull up over by the fire, and I'll bring you some food.
What's on the menu?
Not
that I'm vegan.
We have a variety of dishes for your gustatory entertainment. We have fried knucklehead trout, broiled knucklehead trout soup, and battered knucklehead trout.
Fried sounds good.
Excellent.
Dripper looks very interested with this talk about this fish.
Dripper,
and
fish?
2 seconds here.
I'm not fussy. I would just like something that doesn't have pine needles.
I pull out some of my shiny ball bearings.
I look at you. I shake your head like I got this.
Okay, I slide ahead 3 or 4 of the ball bearings into Heel's pocket.
Okay. Is it her pocket or her coin purse?
Whichever.
Okay, roll me a sleight of hand check, because that has the potential to be entertaining later.
I notice it, but I give up.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
you notice it. You're like, ah, and as you reach back into your coin purse, you find out that he put a lot in there, or he's done this before. There are 6 or 7 of these ball bearings floating around in your coin purse.
I'm getting so rich by the end of this adventure. Like, I'm not spending any fucking money. This is all in my time.
So the forgotten her name already because I'm awesome. Danae says, so that'll be 2 silver each.
I give her a gold.
Excellent, excellent. And she also brings you 5 foaming mugs and fish prepared however you like it. I'm assuming, Dripper, you have it prepared 3 or 4 different ways. It is a very hearty meal. There are some sort of root vegetables included with it. The fish is surprisingly good. The flavor is pretty intense, but it's like they've been cooking with this type of fish for some time. They've learned to sort of maximize that. The mugs are actually kind of surprising. It's a mellow but sweet mead.
Wow, we'll try not to get into trouble with that.
Very tasty, warms you to your core. Your time sitting around the fire is quite lovely. As you finish your meal, what would you like to do?
Drink about 3 more mugs of this in quick succession.
So the mead usually goes for about a silver a mug.
I give her mine.
So-
I give her mine.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Likes to keep what, bird brain he has about him.
So, Okarist, you find yourself with 2 mugs, drinking your way through. Are you going to have more than the 2?
We'll see how I feel once I've finished double fisting it like a champ.
Okay. All right.
Boom,
Great.
phrasing.
Anyhow, moving on. As you guys are finishing up your meal, a halfling woman with sort of silvery hair wanders up to the table and says, greetings, travelers. Here, try one of these. And she holds up a little basket, and inside are little frosted sugar cookies in the shape of halflings wearing various fanciful outfits.
Sugar cookies. Man, this is a fancy
Sugar
establishment.
cookies. Mhm.
A little bit of cocaine sprinkled on top for flavor.
You never know.
I look to my sister to see what she does.
She's distracted by a child who is talking to her currently.
Okay.
I think she probably eats one of the cookies.
So I'm going to shove the whole thing in my mouth in one go and say thank you around a mouthful of cookie.
You were kidding about double fisting.
you devour the cookie in its entirety. It tastes a little stale, like it may have been made with supplies that are a little older, but it's tasty. As those of you that are partaking of the cookies are munching on them, she sort of pulls up a chair to your table, sort of heaves herself up into the large human-sized chair, and sort of sits there with her feet sticking out over the edge, and she says, I am Speaker Mimsy, and I was informed that we had visitors in town, so I figured I would come by and offer you the hospitality of my home.
We will graciously accept, and we'd like to chat with you about your establishment that no longer is, and find out what we can do to help. And we also want to know, where are we?
Oh, well, you are in Lonelywood, in the 10 cities, and yes, we have. There used to be an inn called the Ramshackle, but it has fallen on hard times. And yes, they had to shutter their doors.
How so, and why?
She sort of looks around a little bit. She leans forward, sort of conspiratorially, and she says, "Well, its prior proprietor was a retired sawyer named de Groots, and we found him last week hanging from the rafters in the middle of the inn. We're not sure if he just had finally had enough of the constant darkness, or if someone else had had enough of him.
So you're saying that there's just nobody to run it?
Yes, yeah. Currently, no one particularly interested in. With the troubles we've been having recently, we haven't been getting a lot of folks traveling the road from. I don't want to mispronounce it. The road from Tourmaline.
All right. Trouble.
Kind of troubles, yeah.
Precisely.
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. That I was going to talk to you about that. All right, where is it?
How many people are needed to maintain this business? Is it a 2-man, 3-man, 5-man, 10-man? How many bodies do you need?
It depends on the level of service that you wish to provide. De Groot ran it by himself, but he was quite skilled at woodwork. Yeah, I think he did find it a little overwhelming near the end. It is, it could use some love. But when it comes to trouble, our primary industry here is logging. This is one of the few forests in the 10 cities, and we ship wood for making houses and boats and the like to various cities. We've lost a couple of logging crews recently. Well, we lost one, and 2 or 3 more were sort of chased out of the woods by this immense white moose. We've had the town's a white moose, albino.
That sounds like a
the beast has eluded our hunters, but we do depend on our forest for survival. I don't suppose you'd be interested in taking on a commission to hunt the creature for us.
I look around the table, and then I look to her and nod.
Excellent. She holds up her basket full of cookies and says, "Take as many as you'd like."
I continue to eat the fish. Sugar candy. I mean, I'm a bird. Eat.
I take 2 more cookies, sandwich them, icing sides together, and just.
And as you turn her artistic creations into a sandwich, you see a vague look of frustration on her face, like, I worked really hard on those.
The designs are delicious.
Mm-hmm.
They're very pretty, but I abstain, thank you.
If you do manage to successfully hunt the creature, bring its head.
Okay.
Just the head?
We'll need some...
Well, actually, if you were to bring the
head.
rest of the carcass, I could connect you with a local butcher who would pay you 10 gold for the carcass. But the head of the creature would help allay the fears of our logging teams.
It would also look pretty cool on that wall.
My thought exactly.
I say shinies, right? like question mark, you know, right? Like what are we making out of this, you know?
You see her sort of lean back, and she says, "So the cookies aren't enough." Well, I suppose we could also throw in 100 gold.
And some transport, particularly for the carcass. Like if we bring the head's going to be pretty big and heavy, right?
Even just a mastiff or a dog, if you have one, we can use that to pull with.
Well, if you manage to hunt it, one of our logging teams will be happy to go out and retrieve the carcass for you.
I suspect sleds would be useful in the snow.
Yep, that's our primary means of transport in the area.
Chihuahua pulled sleds. 5
yeah.
per sled.
Should you find that the 100 gold not quite enough enticement, I would also be willing to talk about potentially offering the ramshackle up as some type of investment property for you to
I think
manage
we have
as
a
you see
deal.
fit. Excellent.
Shelter,
I think we
100
can
gold.
move forward.
In thanks for your accepting this commission from us, why don't I take you home with me, and I will show you the room that I've made available for guests. You may spend the night there.
Much appreciated.
So she takes you to her home, which, if you look at the map there, it's kind of in the middle of town. And you see a house. It looks like it was originally designed for humans. 2 stories. The first story, when you come in, all of the doorways and sort of hallways and rooms were obviously designed with humans in mind, but they're filled with halfling-sized furniture for her and her large family. And there's a staircase just off of the front door that leads up into a large attic. The attic is quite warm because the large fireplace in the center of the house, the stack goes up through the center of the attic. You have a feeling that were you to spend the night here, it would be quite comfortable in comparison to
Last night.
the rough sleeping that you've had the past few evenings. And so, as you enter, she introduces various members of her family. You're not sure if she's giving you names or nicknames, but there's Bit and Bob and Toggle and Greensleeve. There are so many people running around this house. It's difficult to sort of keep up with who's who. All right, as you are, so you have been shown to a place of refuge.
She's outside the litter.
I thought the yellow meant it was to me.
Yeah, it is, but it's the stream. It includes my chat box.
Oh, right. So if he's watching the stream, he can see. Yeah. Okay. So she has sort of indicated that it is evening. Anyone have anything to do before you call it a night?
I look at some of the furniture when I think no one's looking, and I kind of have a wistful smile.
It does remind you of home.
We're shaking. Oh, I was just playing some D&D.
Especially the sort of
What's up, dude?
grand nature of the home, and then the diminutive nature of the furniture.
I called you on
It
Christmas.
looks
and you
almost
said
palatial,
you guys were putting
and,
dinner together, so I said I'll let you go.
It's definitely bittersweet.
Yep.
Uh-oh, we lost Spencer.
All right, how are
He
things
just
going?
took a phone call.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see through the night.
So feel free to press your long rest buttons in D&D Beyond, who is not sponsoring us, but we like what they do.
Oh shit, man.
And oh, do you have sorcery points yet, Oakrist?
Ouch.
Or is that a thing you get at level 2?
I don't think that I
Did things
do.
are going
Where would
well
I
with
find it?
Ben in the family?
Just checking.
Somewhere in D&D Beyond.
Also, if she's taking a
Well,
level
I'll tell you
of
what.
bard,
When we're finished this D&D session, I'll give you a call later tonight.
Yeah,
Probably 2 or 3 hours.
yeah. She'll have no sorcery points until
Yeah,
level
Will
2.
do, man. Okay, later, Tater.
But yeah, she knows 4 cantrips
Everything okay?
and 2 first level spells, which are
Yep.
catapult and burning hands, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a very good burning hands, Spencer. You did something with your camera and it looked quite fiery.
Oh, the privacy screen. Literally, it's a flap that flips down over the lens.
Cool.
So we're
All
taking a rest
So
for the night?
You spend an evening. You're awoken by the smell of baked goods, and the speaker serves you a bunch more cookies for breakfast. As you are preparing to leave, Nimsy does say to you, if you have any sort of outfitting needs, do check out the Happy Scrimshander. It's sort of our general store in town.
Excellent. I do have one question. Can you give us a general idea of where this moose is, or is there a logging crew that would be best to speak with before we leave?
That's the interesting thing. It doesn't seem to matter where in the forest we send our logging crews. This creature finds them. So
Excellent.
you can look for it, and I'm sure you'll find tracks in the forest. But if you don't manage to find it, it may find you.
I like
That's
it.
not ominous at all.
Off to the Happy Scrimshander, are we?
Scrimshander,
Ah, yes.
which I had to look up because I didn't know what a scrimshander was. It's people who carve things into ivory. So they turn ivory into art pieces. That's scrimshanding.
That's oddly specific.
Yeah.
Which is what he's selling, right?
So when you find the Happy Scrimshander, he does seem to have some basic goods, but there is a fairly large supply of Scrimshander specific things. Needles to be heated up so that you can sort of melt designs into the ivory, knives of various shapes and sizes, inks in a rainbow of colors, and a special kind of wax that is put on the outside to sort of seal it once you're done with the design.
Finished product.
Yeah,
If you're this detailed with your art, are you able to do tattoos?
I could try. This is a different halfling. You're not sure if she is related to the to Mimsy or not. But it's not an area of expertise of mine.
Just checking.
I have heard good things about the tattoos that one can get in Brinshander.
Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye out. Just curious.
Salt and wax are definitely available. And then give me a nature check.
All of us?
Just Sil. Is anyone else looking for anything in particular?
Maybe a few more arrows.
Something for this headache.
Call a nurse.
More rations.
So
But
yeah,
not
basic
cookies.
rations. Basic rations are not a problem to find, although you guys haven't really cracked into the rations you were carrying
Okay, just making sure.
from your various sets. There are arrows. Wow, I have to look up in the DMG what they cost. It's adventuring gear, right? Yeah.
I'll just buy like another 20 or whatever, just to have extra. I have a feeling that we might end up hunting.
So it's a gold for 20 arrows. Anyone else looking for anything? Still,
Is there any armor or magical items you have here?
I do have one set of studded leather armor, but that was something that I took in on trade, not something I usually deal with, and it may be slightly awkward to wear. You may have to take it someplace else. I can try and help fit it if someone wants to buy it. But you'll probably it'll probably fit much better once you take it to someone who knows armor. It's not really my bailiwick. Sil, you do discover a small pouch of valerian.
Okay.
It's a root. It is known when taken in significant quantity to cause drowsiness.
Gotcha. Thanks.
And he wants 5 coppers for the small bag. There's enough to there's enough for 3 doses of making someone drowsy, or 1 full dose of full-on unconsciousness.
Roger, Doug. How much for this?
But it must be ingested. This isn't a put it on an arrow kind of thing. It's must be consumed.
Copy
All
that.
right. Anyone else looking for anything specifically?
What do you have for knives and swords kind of thing? I don't have anything that stabs.
Oh.
And if we're hunting a moose,
Most of my knives are designed for more artistic pursuits, but he takes you over, and one wall of the shop is all of these various shaped knives, and he says for conflict, I'd recommend these ones over here. And you see there are 4 or 5 fairly lethal-looking daggers with incredibly ornate ivory handles. One of them has a bunch of fish that look like they're sort of jumping out of water that spiral around the handle. Another one has sort of more of like a forest theme to it, and then another has sort of fantastic creatures. You think you see a unicorn and maybe a drake, but they're all sort of woven together in almost like a Celtic knot style. And I think those cost 2 gold.
No, it was talking.
Weapons.
It's sent to you. I don't know. You have listening.
They would count as daggers. And yeah, these are the handles are basically masterwork, but the blades aren't. So there's no real increase in cost. So it's 2 gold for a dagger.
This is very pretty work.
Thank you.
I would hate to use this in defeating a foe. I would not want to get blood on it.
Oh, and he sort of points out a couple of places. The handles have actually been designed in such a way that if they get wet, there are grooves for the liquid to go through. Looks like they're designed for actually to see use.
I like the one with the forest scene on it. I'll take it.
Excellent. He takes your 2 gold, hands you the dagger. It is just a dagger, D4 piercing. Finesse, thrown 2060. Anyone else looking for anything?
How much was the wax and the salt? Or did that 5 copper didn't cover it all, did it?
We need another 5 copper for the wax and the salt.
Okay.
And as he's selling that to you, he sort of inquires as to why you're looking for it.
It's a gag with the rogue. We're gonna try and dose each other.
The wax and salt?
No, the root.
Oh, the root. Oh, yes. No, the wax and salt.
Oh, for the hides. We collected some hides of wolves that attacked us in the woods.
Oh, excellent. May I see them?
There's 5.
Certainly.
You successfully got a portion of the winter wolf, 2 of the wolves, and 1 bunny. So he sort of looks them over, and he says, well, these have obviously been inexpertly cured, but looks like you did fairly well given the supplies that you had. Are you interested in parting with them?
I looked at the party. Are we well geared for cold weather, or do we have a use for this?
That Robert would make a good hat.
Well, if you'd like, I'll trade you some cold weather clothing.
Oh, I'd be up for that.
There are quite a few of you. If you happen to find another 1 or 2 good quality hides, I'd appreciate you tacking that on later, but I don't want you wandering around in the cold freezing. So he outfits you all with cold weather clothing.
Is mine nice looking?
It's sort of generic. You have a feeling that you can probably get something that looks better, but it'll be from a larger town. This is just keep your extremities from freezing kind of thing.
Should we add?
How about some embroidery thread? Can I buy some embroidery thread and embroider detail on myself?
Absolutely. He takes you over to his scrimshanding supplies. There are a few spools of thread, couple brightly colored ones, and then a couple of sort of metallic threads. The metallics are silver each, and the colorful threads you can get 2 or 3 different colors for 5 copper.
I'm gonna get a couple blues and purples and a needle.
Okay. So he throws in the needle along with the threads for 5 copper. You have 2 blues and a purple and a needle.
Okay.
I adjust mine so I can still show off my black shirt.
Mm-hmm.
But
And-
I don't care what it looks like.
Yeah, it is inky black. light seems to pool on it like water and drip off. But that's only when you catch it at the right angle. The rest of the time, it just looks like a fairly luxurious, almost glossy black. You haven't managed to find anything else that's quite like it.
That's why I show it off at every moment, because it's my family's and I am perfect in it.
And for the rest of you, it's a black shirt. It looks nice.
And I kind
Still
of roll
don't know
my
what it
eyes,
does. Yeah, you roll your eyes.
knowing more of the history.
All right. So as you finish your shopping trip, freshly outfitted in warmer clothes, so that when you're outside, you're no longer sort of slowly freezing to death. Are you heading off into the Lonely Wood to try to find this creature?
I think that's appropriate. We've got supplies.
Supplies,
We're
we're
good to go.
kitted, we're ready to handle some cold.
Mm-hmm. You guys still have a little bit of the wolf left over, and you have your basic supplies. You have the feeling that so long as you stay fairly close to town, you should be all right.
Let's
Yeah,
head
let's
off and
go.
hunt a moose.
Searching.
All right. So you head off from town into going deeper into the woods. And who would like to roll a survival check? See if they find tracks.
I got a +3.
Same
Okay.
here.
You
All right.
already roll.
All right. And then give me, I'll have the two of you also give me rolls. Beautiful.
I've got a 4. I guess I'm rolling next time.
All right. As you guys are wandering through the woods,
I'll get us home.
each of you are looking for tracks that don't seem to be tracks this close to town, but you're slowly sort of extending your search outwards. After about 3 hours of searching, you have not found any tracks yet, and something
Why don't
happens.
we try cutting off a tree and then see if it comes to us now?
You're gonna cut a tree down?
Well, it was attacking the logging group, so why don't we log?
Okay.
In a second, once this thing is done, maybe.
Sounds reasonable.
Mm-hmm. So as you're looking through the woods for tracks, there's a stillness that descends over the forest. It's still dark. You can see the moon is sort of starting to rise over the horizon, which is interesting. Fairly certain that it's morning, but the moon does what it wants, and generally you don't see it when it rises during the day because it's too bright. But with it being constantly night here, you see the moon. As you guys all sort of brace yourselves as the stillness descends, the sounds of the forest start picking up again, and nothing seems to have happened. There's an encounter table thing.
I missed that last part. What was that?
Oh, there's an encounter table, and I rolled nothing happens on it.
Wow. Lucky. I guess we start scouting ahead more and looking for more, looking for tracks.
Do we want to do that, or Heels said we should like try cutting down a tree and see if that just attracts it to it?
Does anyone,
Labor doesn't just go together, so I'm gonna go look for tracks.
does anyone have an axe?
No.
Checking.
Didn't we just buy a shiny dagger that was all cool looking and stuff?
Yep.
Hit that against a tree.
I mean, I could light a tree on fire.
You stab the tree. 4 days later, you decide this isn't working and go buy an axe.
Does anybody have?
Right.
We don't have an axe.
I don't know if anyone
crowbar
has an axe.
and a hammer and a piton.
So you can climb the tree.
Yeah. You could probably mess a tree right up. But,
I mean, it would sound the same, right? If you're hitting a tree with a hammer, right?
Yes.
Relatively.
Syl has the big warhammer. Might be able to knock a tree down eventually.
So,
Controlling the fall of the tree would be difficult because you're not able to take the wedge out, which sort of then the tree sort of buckles in that area and falls. If you're just sort of mashing it with brute strength, things could get complicated.
I've got a hand axe.
Oh, you have a hand axe. Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, so are you guys cutting down a tree?
Yes, let's.
It'll certainly take a while because it's a hand axe. It's not a logging axe.
Yeah.
Well, are you looking for the biggest freaking tree in the forest to cut down, or is that the? So is that what we're doing, or are we just cutting down some skinny ones?
something on the more slender point of view would be good.
Thoroughly medium-sized tree.
So, Syl, what kind of tree do you choose?
Something of the appropriate size that we could carry what we cut.
Okay.
And he will swing at a medium pace.
At a medium pace.
And the rest of us will keep an eye out around.
All right. So while Syl is cutting down a sort of smaller tree, kind of about this far around, sort of birch looking, but with evergreen needles still, I will take survival checks from those who are not cutting down trees as you're looking for tracks in the area while he does his work.
Since my mother was a halfling, do I get to reroll ones?
No.
Good idea.
What is with our rolls? What is with our rolls? Like, wow.
Yep.
They're all in the
There you
toilet
go.
today. Yay,
Excellent.
Tia, well done. That's my sister, everyone.
All right. So you finish cutting down the tree. It's like 12 or 13 feet. When it's down, it's fairly easy to sort of section off and add to your collection of firewood. This set looks a little bit better because, well, actually, the last set wouldn't look terrible either because I didn't know you had an axe. So you have a little bit more firewood. And then I need to roll these. All right. I will. So you guys, Tia, once the tree falls, sort of points out to you guys, I think these are moose tracks, and leads along the way. You wander deeper into the forest for about an hour when over the crest of the next hill, you see a large brown creature with immense horns, and it's just sort of sitting, and it seems to have burrowed through some snow, and it is just sort of chewing, and you can see sort of steam rising from its giant nostrils. This is a large creature. Looks kind of like a moose.
It's not white.
It's not white.
Unless they were colorblind.
Usually, black and white don't change.
Could have been the season. Like, animals do change color in the seasons.
That is true. But it did sound like this was recent.
There could be more than one moose.
Do we leave it be and then carry on and...
I wave.
The moose does notice the movement, but it appears to be fairly focused on what it's doing.
Alright,
Wrong
let's
moose
leave
track?
it. Yeah, wrong moose track. I
Alright.
say we take down
We are
another
supposed
tree.
to bring some extra hides back to that guy.
Hmm.
He didn't really specify wolf hides, but we had brought him mostly wolf hides before.
And the bunny.
And a bunny.
Why don't we try to find the white moose first, and then if we don't, well, brown moose is better than no moose at all.
Alright. Perhaps it could be a magical swamp donkey. There. Magical swamp donkey after all.
But if it is, we'll ask it, does it make waffles?
Hooray, pop culture. All right, so ignoring the moose and wandering off. All right, I'll take a survival check from Syl.
Yes!
All right, so wandering away from this, after about another hour of searching, Syl finds another set of moose tracks and starts guiding you along them. After you follow the tracks, they sort of seem to meander around. You follow them for about an hour when you spot in the distance a small rabbit.
I don't think it's a moose.
It
But
is
I look
white
at
though.
Dripper, I look at Dripper and I'm like, kill bunny. Good pelt.
Kill. In his voice. And I shoot the rabbit.
All right, roll me an attack. You line up a shot, and as you let go of the arrow, it drives into the ground right next to where the rabbit is. It breaks in 3 different places. The rabbit tears off at an incredibly fast pace. You think you have lost the rabbit. And please subtract an arrow.
That's why I bought an extra 20 of them.
Yeah. Following the tracks for another hour, you end up, eventually you find a small clearing. In the center of the clearing is a sort of strangely shaped mound of snow. And around the outside of the clearing, there are a whole bunch of prints. It looks like the creature that is now in the clearing has sort of been doing circles outwards. And the trees along the outside of the clearing look like they've been stripped of branches from the ground up to about 6 or 7 feet in the air. And standing, sort of chewing on another one of these small trees is another enormous brown moose.
What do you think? Kill this one? There's lots of meat.
But
So,
I don't think it's our target.
does this one have horns and stuff, or is this one a female?
Yep.
Yeah? Oh, okay. All right.
You haven't seen any, I don't, do both sexes of moose have horns?
It's your
Leave
world.
in the
You
winter.
tell us.
Both male and female caribou have antlers. Once in a great while, a female moose will sprout antlers due to a hormone imbalance. So, all right. So you're pretty sure that you've seen two dudes.
Well, they keep taking down the trees. This is a logging. If we're going to have an interest in the ramshackle, we may not want them to take down the trees. And with that, I turn and I cast Sacred Flame.
Okay.
You're gonna wreck. What are you doing?
It's at the moose.
I'll take initiative rolls from everybody, please. And Sacred Flame for 15.
Are we on the same map still?
We're just going to do this one Theater of the Mind.
Okay.
It's just a moose. I do need this, though, because I need to roll a save. Okay. And how do I add a thing when I don't have a token for it? Add custom item.
I still get a giggle every time I cast Sacred Flame, considering who my father is.
All right.
For those at home, my father's, it's Asmodeus.
Okay. All right. As you cast Sacred Flame, the moose takes 1 point of damage. It turns and looks at you, raises its enormous antlers in the air, and it looks like it's going to be coming for you. That was an ambush round because it wasn't expecting tiny little creatures to attack it. Turn order. Heals. Your turn again. Roll and save. Fails. All right. Takes another 8 points of damage as you channel holy energy into this creature. It starts pawing the ground. It looks like it's going to be headed towards you guys. Dripper.
How close is it again? Sorry.
You guys were standing at sort of the edge of the clearing, so it's about 35 feet.
Okay. All right. I guess I shoot it with my bow. We're killing a moose. All right.
Take a shot.
Pew.
It's a beautiful shot. The moose begins to charge towards you guys. Dripper sort of turns, drops to one knee, lines up a shot. The arrow goes through its eye socket into its brain. The moose collapses in front of you guys about 5 feet away, dead.
I casually brush snow off of my cloak.
That's 20 XP
Booyah.
for your hunting expedition.
I look at Dripper. See? Cold, snow, bad.
Get the feeling that this is not our moose. That was too easy.
But it's good
Are
food.
Are we going to be expected to drag a whole bunch of moose back?
Just the heads. They can come and get the bodies.
We can't eat the heads.
Isn't the plural of moose meese?
They only wanted the head of the white moose.
Yeah. But
If we tell them where there's a brown moose, maybe we can take that head to decorate the ramshackle.
Ooh, I like this.
If
Now-
we have wind up killing another brown moose, we can have a matched set and put them at opposite ends of the room for symmetry.
Oh, it just sounds too fancy for me.
and cast magic mouth on them and let them have conversations with each other.
They can announce when dinner is ready.
So you do remember that Mimsy had offered a team of loggers to come out and cart the moose corpse back. But her expectation was that the white moose that has been terrorizing them would be dead at this point. So you may not have a group that is willing to come out and get this moose for you. You may have to bring it back yourselves.
Let's just keep searching for the white moose.